Hi, Kus. Good evening. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hello, hello everyone.
Okay, so I still don't see Aman in the call, so I'll just wait for him.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks, Abhimanyu. So, guys, I'll just set up some context about how we are going to have this webinar. So, in the question, everybody has a control panel on the screen, and the control panel has a question section. Okay, so if you have any questions which you want to ask to the speaker or anybody in the as anybody in the organizer team, you can type in your question in the box and it will come to us. So from our side, we have Ikas, Pratik will be joining in soon, and Aman, who is the speaker of this session, will try to answer your questions on that. If you have any questions which you want to discuss, we'll spend some few minutes after the session. So in that point, you can ask a question. What we'll do is we'll try to uh, find the relevant questions and unmute you, and then you can ask your questions and get your answers from the speaker or from the organizers. Okay, so I'll just wait for Aman. So I hope everybody is staying at home and staying safe. Okay.
hey Pratik.
Hi,
I
Gus.
don't see. Hey, Pratik, you joined. Oh, okay, nice. I was looking for your profile on in the attendees.
I think by default I was added to attendees only.
Yeah, you. So when you log in, you go to attendees. Then we have to promote you to the organizer. Okay,
Oh, okay.
Aman is also here.
Great, great.
Hi, Aman.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi, Aman.
so I will give the control to Pratik. Pratik is going to host this meetup today. So he will be our MC today, and yep. Okay, over to you, Pratik.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Prateek, and I am just a volunteer for JS Lovers Bangalore chapter. And due to the current situation that we have to host the meetups online so that we don't miss the part of attending the meetups. So here we are. I believe we have 26 attendees right now, and we have an amazing speaker today. His name is Amandeep Singh, and he has been an independent web consultant. He is an open source contributor and also a tech speaker. A fun fact about him is that he can play and sing with harmonium. So that's a great thing. We have a talented guy over here. So Amandeep, would you like to have a brief introduction about yourself, please?
Sure, just allow me a quick minute. I'm setting up something. Just allow me a quick minute.
Sure, no problem, no problem.
Pratik, in the meanwhile, we can go with the other stuff like code of conduct and everything.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Okay, so guys, there's a code of conduct for all the attendees that we have. We all are learning over here. So if you have any kind of questions, it's better that you all go on mute by default. I think we all are on mute right now. And if you have some questions, there's a questions tab in the GoToWebinar control panel. If you can see, there will be a questions tab. I believe 3 people have actually asked the questions as well. So whatever question you have, if any kind of doubt you have, me, Ekas, Jaswant, and Neha, we all are here to help you out. And Amandeep can actually, after attending and completing all the session, he can answer your questions. Also, once we are done with the session, please hold on here because I'll be posting a feedback link so that you can, it's a very small form, because we just want to have a small feedback from you all so that we can, improve day by day from your genuine feedback. So I'll be posting it in the chat section after some time.
Pratik, can you please make me the presenter?
Yeah, just a second.
Okay.
I have done that. It takes some time, I guess.
Pratik, probably there's this confirmation it asks from you. So have you confirmed it?
I didn't get the confirmation actually. Ekas, can you try from your end?
Yeah, let me do it.
Yeah.
What's happening? Sorry, I missed out.
Yeah, no problem. Given. Aman, you have the access.
Cool.
We can see. Great.
Great.
I'm not sure if he's audible.
Sorry, I was on mute. I hope everyone
Oh,
can
okay, great.
hear me now.
Yeah, now we can
Yeah.
hear you clearly.
Great. So, yep, sorry I couldn't answer your question earlier, Pratik. So, yeah, hey everyone, my name is Amandeep Singh. As Pratik shared earlier, I'm an independent web consultant and open source contributor. A volunteer for JS Lovers and some other profit and non-profit, um, sorry, technical and non-technical non-profit communities as well. I'm a hobbyist, harmonium player, a singer, uh, and also a hobbyist chess player. These are my social links. And today we are going to talk about the basics of React, just the basics. What is React? React is basically a JavaScript framework for building user interfaces. A correction here, it's not a framework, it's a library. There are these kind of discussions which keep happening, and at a constructive level, I encourage them. But at the core, all the frameworks, libraries, React, Angular, Vue, these are a bunch of architects working on the same problem from a different perspective. So the base line of this presentation and beyond is that everything that exists coexists, complete what we have in a beautiful world, and everything alone would not make it um, as beautiful as it is now. So this is a meme tweet, Mark tweets, similar tweets. So we have individuals from the Angular community countering his tweet that with the short learning curve of React as compared to Angular, where comes a lot of things which are not available in React out of the box. So yeah, there are pros and cons of both things, but yeah, let's focus on React. Let's take a step back and just talk about standard HTML. It gives us the ability to combine everything, package everything together. So we can have like inline styling, inline style tags, inline styling done to individual components, JavaScript written inside the HTML attributes, then JavaScript written inline. So that's very powerful in a way from a packaging perspective, but that packaging itself is incomplete because we cannot create individual HTML packages or modules and call them from one another. So let's talk about simple HTML button, the declarative way of doing things. I simply say, hey button, I label something, say submit, and I see something appearing on the UI that has a default design, some inbuilt CSS, which browsers support, which can differ from different browser windows. And if I declare something else in the state, if I say that a button become disabled, we see the effect coming on the UI. So from a programmer's perspective, this is pretty intuitive. So this has already been available to us since the beginning, which the web developers like a lot. But then there is a problem to solve, as I suggested earlier, that the modules, the packaging, the performance, those kind of things are not available out of the box, due to which different individuals have tried different things since ages. Yeah, I talked about this earlier, whereby this is a pretty declarative way, whereby we would have simple two buttons. They would say what is the state, then there is styling associated, everything is packaged. Now, what if we could extend what is already something that we like about the declarative part of HTML and extend it beyond? So React tries to solve this problem using something called JSX. It's JavaScript and XML, and you can have it's give you the ability to write code in a declarative manner, as simple as this, whereby you would have a button. Observe that the buttons letter B is capital here. It has a custom attribute called variant. It is contained. Then it renders a production ready button control. We would not see the default button that comes in HTML5 in production. If we change or simply add another attribute, say color primary, we would have some primary definition, and the button immediately changes to a primary color, which is defined. If it is secondary, it becomes red. If it is disabled, it becomes it shows a disabled states. But how do we actually achieve that? We will see that how React enables us to achieve this kind of interface in detail by JSX. We had an excellent conference yesterday, online conference, all women's conference, and one of the great speakers there, Maggie, she creates illustrations like this, and this is something which is available on her website, illustrator.dev. JSX, she's professionally working with agate.io that creates learning videos. That's awesome. In case you haven't checked that out, do check it out. There are free learning resources available there. So she claims that JSX is basically a child of HTML and JavaScript, which mixes both. And yeah, I mean, this kind of presentation gives that a feeling of what we wanted to achieve as developers, and JSX has enabled us. He then states that we can have everything combined into one package side by side and create things which, when combined, make up complex applications. Simple things which, when combined, help us make complex things. So we can, for example, have a separate menu component, a card component, a button, article, whatever. We can then just keep creating them, and then bottom up to something as complex as you want it to be. This illustration is not available yet online, and this was one of the illustrations she presented yesterday. I requested her if I could use her, and she was kind enough to give the permissions. So here we see vanilla JavaScript, vanilla HTML, CSS, everything available to us in form of the softie, and then we have a topping on of it that's basically React, which gives us this ability to combine and make great things. We'll talk more about it. So thanks to JSX, React is declarative. From a modularity standpoint, it gives us the ability to create, to package things, to create packages and import them as we would import any other ES6 module. So here is an example of some button that we might create and then reuse it at number of places in our application. But React is component based. As a developer, I would also have a wish that I could get away with the JavaScript fatigue. I could get away with a number of things that I need to keep learning, which just don't stop. And I wish there was one golden thing, one silver bullet, which can be applied at many places. ReactJS has a solution for us. Learn once, write anywhere is the principle. So the core team created different APIs for different platforms, yet keeping the most complex part common. We'll talk more about it, but learning one syntax and minimal other things we can, minimal other things which are like platform specific. We can reuse our code, reuse our abilities to code for native web. We are server-side rendering, and of course, I mean, web includes both server-side and the client side. Taking a step back, this is one of the tweets, one of the mantras of this great personality. In case you don't know him, he's an engineering manager in the Chrome team, Google. This has helped me a lot, and I hope that it does the same for you. He says that first do it, then do it right, then do it better. This is my mantra for successfully getting things done. It's all about the iteration. So starting today in the React series that we are planning ahead, whereby we will have a series of React events, we would iteratively learn things in React. So the mission is to first get things done and then make them production ready. For that reason, all the examples would be implemented in browser. We would not use anything such as NPM modules, builders, etc. Everything, if at all we would be using anything, that would be the old way. Just include a script tag and things work magically. We would eventually get there, but not today. That's obviously not recommended for serious production applications because of performance and maintenance reasons. Best engineering practices focus on long-term outcomes, especially the maintenance phase. Yes, that's true. And that's why we can still create applications the way we would be doing today, yet refactor them easily so that they can be transformed into production-ready applications later. And the good news is, like jQuery once a library which ruled the web for a long time, React can also be included on a standard HTML page using just a script tag and without using anything else. We'll see how. This is obviously not recommended in CS production applications. Let's see some examples. So just a heads up, this is the application that we'll be going to create today. A bunch of codes. The first one from me, where I say every passing moment we are nearing death and a new JavaScript framework. And we have a view called a meson review that's similar to how a meson puts up bricks. So this is how we would achieve that. I'm not going to talk about the CSS today. I already have it written for you. We will just include it. We will focus on the React part. And by the way, this is fully responsive. Cool. So in case you want to follow, yeah, this is available on Code Sandbox and also hosted on GitHub. I'll share everything with you, so don't worry about it. So in order to proceed, in case you want to follow along, I've created a beginner's sandbox. We'll be doing everything here today. Let me quickly share it in the chat window. Are you able to see the chat? Are you able to get the link now? Can someone confirm that? I shared it in the chat.
Uh,
that would be great.
Aman, you have to share in the chat window or the questions box. Yeah, got it now. You have to send it to all. Yeah.
Cool.
So I will also forward through the questions box to everyone once again. So guys, for the attendees, it might be you receive in the chat box or in the questions box as a response. So just check at both the places.
Cool. So let me share what do we have here. So in case you don't know, codesandbox.io is an excellent site whereby you can create and edit live applications. It has a bunch of features, but we would be using a couple of them only. I have customized a few things, the theme, the font size, so that I'm able to present it and you don't face any difficulty to see. So don't be surprised in case you get a different view. The code, however, should be the same. So what we have here is a couple of files and index.html being shown on the left hand side. The code is being shown on the right hand side. So what we have here is, I've commented a couple of things and I'll keep uncommenting them as you proceed. But for now, just assume that it's a simple HTML template, static HTML template with a h1 tag, a bunch of divs, which are named root 1 to root 4. That's it. So that's the result that we see here. So let's proceed. The first thing I'm going to do is uncomment a file, an empty file, which should be available here called main.js, and that's empty. We don't have anything here yet. So if we were to do something in pure JavaScript, as in creating a dynamic tag, adding some attributes to it, how would we do that? So we would first fetch the base element, ID. One of them is called app, and we would basically use the other so the idea is to create another element and assign it back to this root. So we would use another element called, say, simple just element, use another API, documents API, create element, right? And let's create an h2 tag, and let's assign it back to app dot append child element. And this is right. So just to ensure that we have, okay, so that's root one, sorry, root one. Let me open a debugger. Yeah, the element has been created, but there is nothing inside it, right? So we need to actually write something inside it first in order to make it visible on the screen. So if I say in a text, say log is great, and it appears on the UI. So currently it's a very boring UI. In order to make it look a bit better, let's include the default styles that I've created. If I quickly show the styles, there is a bunch of default styling and some helper classes that I've written. So few of them are the color names and something called card plane. So if I want to add these classes, how would I proceed? So class name, that's how we do in JavaScript. And color, say it's red, and the custom class for this is card plane. Right. So yeah, this is the simplest way to create something using plain old JavaScript. But is it something as easy or as developer friendly as we would like to do with what I tried showing earlier, using what can we achieve natively with Java, with HTML? Say we have this h1 tag which can be rendered this way. Why would I use that? We don't use it for normal use cases, but this was the case when HTML templates and other things were not introduced, and we had to create something dynamically. So I'm talking about like 2008, 2009-ish era when we started web development. So thanks to ES6 templates, we have now better ways to do that. We can simply access the variable document.get element by ID, and that can be root 2. And I can simply say inner HTML equals to starting this tag. I would simply say I need to create an h2 element. And yeah, Lord is great. Right. And it appears right. And if I want to beautify it, you can simply add a class called lane, and the view becomes a bit better, right? But we cannot create modules out of this. So if we have a complex UI, so this is a very simple single line h1 tag, h2 tag. But in real world, we have complex templates, and we have data that is coming from the API. Then we have reusability factors and so on and so forth. These are the factors due to which we had to start using different things. And let's see how React saves us. So stretched heavily upon JSX. Let's see that what JSX can bring to the table. So the first simplest JSX or the React element that we are going to create would look simple. So there is a renderer called React DOM. So this is the library. This is a separate identity from the core React set of APIs, which is just used for rendering purpose, and it has a render method which accepts as the first element JSX. So we can, for example, we can copy paste this and add it back to the source that we want to do. But this unfortunately would not work right now because first we don't have React DOM, and I'll talk about other problems just in a while. So in order to get React and React DOM libraries, I would first have to uncomment a couple of things and keep the other things commented. So what I've done now is I've taken React core and React's view library, which is React DOM. And now those globals, React and React DOM, are available to the browser. But we still have a problem, right? This is not a string. So how can we write a string this way? So React gives us this ability whereby we can combine both HTML and JavaScript together. So in the first way, this looks a bit comfortable, especially to anyone who is new to this kind of concept. Everyone, including individuals from the core React team, had this opinion. But eventually, when you start observing the benefits of this kind of features, and the features, the benefit this kind of syntax provides, you'll ignore your initial anxiety that some of you might be having right now. You would have observed that nothing worked as of now on the UI, and I had to do at least this change. So, right, it still says that it's basically a syntax error, right? So this is valid JSX, whereby I'll talk about why I transferred or replaced the keyword class by class name in a while. But this is basically valid JSX, but this is not valid JavaScript, right? So React has created this technology, but browser vendors still don't know it. So this still needs to be transformed or transpiled into JavaScript. For that reason, we have our friends since ages, which have been there for using experimental JavaScript features and all that we want to use, which are not yet made official, but are in the proposer modes. So Babel helps us there. So let's include Babel. And also, we have to tell the browser that what we are going to write here is going to be a Babel script, not regular JavaScript. So for that reason, let's get rid of this and let's convert this main JavaScript to a Babel JavaScript. So once we do that, it starts working again. And yeah, this is the first JSX element that we have written, right? In order to make things a bit simple, let's assign it to some variable. Let me call it a quote. That's still not comfortable to you, I know, but we'll eventually get to your comfort level. So everything is working right now. But let's see that what magic Babel is doing under the hood to convert this kind of interface into something that browser can understand. So for that, Babel provides us an online tool. And let me quickly open that. So I have, yeah, so we do have this simple code tag by we have a similar kind of definition that we provided in our application. And this is what we wrote. And on the right-hand side is what Babel transformed it and supplied it to the browser. So it basically converted our constant quote to variable quote and then used the React API, which gives us this API create element similar to what we have in our native API. We supply our the kind of element that we want to create, and then some attributes, the class name and the text that we see here. Yeah, so this is what is happening under the hood, what Babel is doing. And also, let's see that, let's try doing a console log of what this or what exactly is this quote element. So if I see that this is what we get, let me zoom it a bit. Yeah, so there are a bunch of properties in this object, this custom object that has been created, the quote object. But I mean, one is the type h2, the h2 tag that we have created. But the most important property that we want to focus on right now is props property. So um, these variable children in class name. So the text is provided is converted into is our children, which we would expect in the standard XML. We have this parent, and inside this parent we have this children, and then we have a bunch of other attributes. One is the class name, right? So let's try this kind of API, which is actually converted, because we can also use that. So instead of this code, let's use this, and things still work the way they were working earlier, except the fact that there is a clause missing and we have this left padding gone. So for that, let's bring back our class card plane, and yeah, it becomes the same. So we can have n number of children after this. So if I, for example, try to create another element here, calling it, let's keep learning, right? It appends things to the child. And this can also be provided as this attribute, the children attribute here, the one that we saw in the browser console, children, making it an array. Yeah. Sorry, typo here. Comma was missing. So yeah, things are working as expected. But again, so this is not a user-friendly interface, similar to the 2008 kind of interface, after which we had this kind of capability. So React has given us, let me revert to JSX. So yeah, so this is what we want to see going forward, because this is more human friendly. Now, okay, cool. So yeah, in the standard templates, apart from writing, I mean, we could have written it in a regular string only, but what's the advantage that we get in by using templates? The advantage is that in case we have any JavaScript that can be utilized and that can be written here. So any valid JavaScript can be written in the standard templates. So we have these two, and if you want to use similar JavaScript here, instead of using dollar, we just use the curly braces. So anything inside it would be valid JavaScript. So 1 plus 2, right? So this is the most basic React component, and let's move ahead now to create an interface similar to this. I do have a bunch of codes that I've written, and I've created a separate file called codes. This is similar to how we mock things in the front end when the, say, API is not ready. So let's assume that these are the kind of results that we are getting from our API. We are storing it in a global variable called codes, including it on our main page. So the global variable is now available. So if we want to convert things, well, what we are getting there, so we can have code. Okay. Sorry, there's a typo. It's codes. Right. So it's available now. Right. So if you want to create an interface like this, we do have we have already started. So let's get rid of this. Let's see that how can we create that kind of application. Right. Right. So there are a limited number of things that we can perform by writing JSX just as a variable. We have to eventually use either JavaScript classes or React classes or React functions. So let's convert it into a function and see if everything works the way we expect it to be. It would not. One of the other great things about React is that in case you're doing something wrong, it would tell you that what is something which is not happening in a right way, in a very descriptive manner. So in the console, you would observe this error, whereby it is clearly suggesting that you might have assumed that code is just a variable and not a function. And if you want to make a function, you have to convert it into a tag. And things started working again. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is we would like to enhance how we can reuse things. So there is just one code and we have like n number of codes. How would we proceed? So let's create another, because if I try creating another code here, it would fail. That's because the rule is that whatever variable or I mean whatever output this entity is providing us, the ultimate output should be enclosed in a div, in a single div. So we have a separate container for this, HTML container for this, and separate one for this. It would not work. If you want that to work, one way is to make this a div. And proceed. So it starts working. So we do see two codes now. So that's kind of becoming, that's already proving to be a very user-friendly kind of interface that we see here. Let's make it better so that we can make things good in a way. So for example, if I want to see a red code here and a red color for the first one and the second one, for the second one I want to see a different one, and for different code for different codes I want to see different codes being getting rendered, right? This is everything is hard coded right now. I have to make it customizable, similar to how I would like to write my declarative way by adding simple attributes and everything works as it is. So in order to make things a bit better, let's create a app component. Yeah, another interesting thing is if I try supplying an app component here, it would not work. This is because we have to have only capital casing for React components. So that's another learning. That's code 1, code 2, and something is not right. So I made the same mistake. We need to call it like a function. Cool. Now I want to have the ability to provide things, right? So earlier we observed that there was a props property that was being sent to this kind of interface. So for example, if so code 1, yeah, right. If I want to make this code customizable, for example, I have to supply this code as a parameter. So the kind of API that I would like is, for example, code that tell you from this interface, which I'm designing here, that this is the code that I would like to see. Zero, 1, 2. Let's make this 4 for now. So, right. But whatever we are passing right now is not being accepted here. So for that, we have to start programming it. So we do have a props now. Right. So the prop is available, and quote is being sent there. So if I want quote, so that's it's using JavaScript operator. Let's extract out quote from the props. And once we have the quote available, we would simply render the quote. So yeah, but it still doesn't have the styling because we have not applied any styles here. It simply says card plain. Let's get rid of this. This is an H2. Okay, right. And so at least this functionality has started working. Let's see a bunch of classes here, apply some of them. Yeah, we would also have to make some other changes in order to things to work in terms of the HTML structure. So let's convert our template to a proper application now. So let's move quotes. Let's remove this. Which one out of these are we using? Root 3. We keep root 3. Everything else is not needed. Yeah. So yeah, I would also need a container now. So first, what I'm doing is I'm creating the entire HTML. So yeah, one of the things that you would typically do when writing React, there are many approaches. So the best approach that I kind of follow is, at times creating a standalone application and then creating a vanilla HTML CSS, barring the functionality part because that functionality needs to be done in React. So we already have this interface, right? So let's follow this approach. We already have that template available, right? So this has been done, for example, as a standalone activity. Let me edit this, copy the entire code. Go create a new file, create a new HTML. Let me use my local editor here, whereby I would simply say that is of type HTML. Right, and then try formatting it. Format. Okay, now class would not work there. You need to replace class with class name. So Let's copy this. Say class name. Right. Just to confirm, class is no longer available here. We have class names everywhere, right? So this vanilla HTML should work as it is, right? Let's try copying it, moving back, and let's create a static HTML to begin with. Yeah. So this is ultimately we want to create, right? But this is static. We want to break it into components. So one is a aside component. Yeah, just to let you know, this aside component is not visible in this view. That's because in a responsive mode, the misandry doesn't works. It only works in the in a view which is greater than 768. It needs a view with greater than that. So you would observe that although this is available, but the functionality is not working. That is what we would fix using React. But let's first move this HTML. Let's break this out into components. So let's create first create an aside component. Launch aside. And we have this container, and we have this bunch of codes, right? So we can replace all these codes create code subject. So this is kind of an exercise in how would we convert something existing into a React application if you already have a markup, right? So this needs a container. So we don't have a container, and we don't want an extra div. For that, React provides us something called a fragment. What this would do is it would wrap our element or module, but would not create an extra div onto the UI. Right. So we have codes. From here, this is being returned. Codes. Have we inserted the codes? We have not. So either we have included the side element, or we have included the codes element. This is how we will do it. Let's see what's wrong. Codes component. Is there a typo? Codes. See if this is the problem. Commented it out. Yeah. So codes has a problem. If we have seen that codes have some problem, what problem does it has? Okay. React is available globally, so this should work. If we try replacing it with a div, let's see if that works. Just for testing purposes. So why? Okay, there is a typo here. So sorry about that. It's fragment, not fragment. So sorry about that. There was a typo. There's a joke that we see often now and then on Twitter that spent whole night debugging and found that it was a colon that's not applicable for JavaScript because colon is optional here. But yeah, we do get into situations like this. So right. So we would observe that this guy is not available in the other mode, but it's visible here. Yeah. So there is also one trick if you want to have a shortcut for that. React segment. This is a shortcut. So these two mean the same thing. Just opening, closing brackets, and that can be omitted. React.segment, right? So we have this available now, and yeah, let's proceed. So these used to be our. So let's keep just one code. Return back to what we wanted to achieve. Let's keep it code, right? So we wanted this kind of interface. So code is already available here as well. Let's use the same code here. Let's get rid of this guy. Just confirm the markup. So instead of h2, yeah, everything is fine here, right? So we need to preserve this markup basically. And what we want to omit is this thing. Right. So if we have a code that's not available here, as of now, okay, type again, remove the duplicate application definition. Yeah, you'll come back again. So yeah, everything is hard coded, and let's again use the code that we want to use. Let's replace it by code, and let's supply a code as a prop. So our global variable code is still available. So 0. And let me make it 1 and 2. So I will type again. Okay, cool. So the styling is still not there, and we also need to supply the color. I'll say color is red, or color is blue. color is green, right? So I want everything to appear the same way. So I need to read this attribute here, and when color is available, let's see the class name that we have. These are the simple ones. Let's start applying them. Sorry, yeah, I need to remove this hard coding and acknowledge what we have from color, and let's also convert this into our old friend JavaScript templates. This is regular template, so this needs a dollar here. This is not JSX, this is regular templating, ReactJS. So yeah, so by supplying red, blue, and green as an attribute here, this kind of beautiful API, and this uh, and by converting this into imperative stuff, right? We get this kind of interface. Now, yeah, we can keep on doing this, and however number of codes that we want to see, we can keep on adding them, but that's not what we want. We want to read them from an API, not from the mock that we had created, and let's do that. So if I want to, yeah, so there's a concept of hooks whereby you React says that if you want to hook something, hook something to the UI or the state, it gives you the entity and also takes the control from the user to not make it dirty uh, himself. Let me explain what I mean by that. So we have something called React hooks, and one of the basic hooks is state, right? And this is how we would create one, and we would supply what needs to be initiated. This returns an array, and let's deconstruct it. Let's uh, call the data that we want to get, right? The codes. So codes, right? Okay. And let's initialize it to null. Nothing is available. And what we want to do is that when the code is not available, nothing should render on the UI. Right. So just let's confirm that, because I think because of this the rendering stopped. Yeah. So when the codes are available, only then render, right? When the codes are null, it would not appear. So this is how you conditionally render a UI on React. So so we can still have the header, right? What's the problem with not rendering the header? It has just to do with the codes. So let's move this condition to this stack. And since it's JavaScript, let's use JavaScript inside JSX. Cool. Now, to test it out, quote is quotes, can be quotes, the global variable that we already have. Right? So this should work when we are supplying, we are adding what we already have here. So quotes is available here, and let's console that out. But once we are initializing quotes, what do we actually get? Not that again. Need to wrap this guy. Yeah, that problem is resolved, and once we have the codes, let's refresh this. Check drop your form. Okay, so yeah, this is something else. We will talk about it. This is giving an error on our input box, which is here, the controls. But yeah, we'll talk about it. So it's saying undefined. Let's see what's the problem here. We have W state codes. And this is an array. This is being okay. Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a, we have to at least call it something else. What a silly mistake that is. So yeah, the codes are appearing here when we are initializing it. Right. Now we want these codes to be fetched from an API. I had created an API. Which would return these codes, api.khalsa.now.sh codes. So yeah, we are getting the same response from this API. Let's try using it. So if I want to use this, we want to set the codes, right? Let's make it null to begin with. Let's fetch it from the API. We would use another hook, use effect. And this needs a callback function. Now, this use effect basically renders at least when the application is rendered in the first code, and also this callback function runs, executes when anything which has a state inside this particular application with this component changes, right? So if I want to stop that from happening, let me just add a supply here. So what I'm saying is, let me do a fetch to this API, and once the response is available, I'll convert it into a JSON. And when that is also available, the data, I would set the quotes with the data, right? And once the data is available, then I can do other things. So this has to be queue here. Let's ensure that we get rid of our hard coding where we don't repeat the same mistake. Let's see if there is any other small code here available. There are 4. Okay, this is one. Right. Right. I think we are set here. So what I'm trying to do is the result that we get from this API, right? I want to iterate over it and then show it instead of showing the codes one by one. So that's what we want to achieve. So what we have here is the result, and the result is what Q. We would do Q dot map. That's how we iterate an array in JavaScript, and say the code and the index. Right? And what we want to render is a quote. It's providing it a quote attribute. Let's get rid of this. Syntax error. Right. It's yeah. So all these codes are getting called from the API. Let's confirm that. Let's go to the Meetup tab and see any HR calls happening. So we see this codes getting fetched from this API, and that's how it's working. Right. So the thing is that we don't have styling defined inside this variable, right? I mean, the response that is coming. So if we simply iterate over it, we need to define a logic whereby we would like to say that, hey, the first quote appear this way, the second with this particular color, and then there is also a filled attribute. If you see the class here, the application, it says card and a BG green. So for instance, if I we are not seeing any background color here. If I try adding a BG here in our code definition, so instead of color, if I say BG color, everything should start appearing in the background. So since we are not sending any color here, let's say the color should be red, but hard coded for now. And we should expect everything to be converted. It's pinching dice. Let's make it blue. Cool. Now we want to have the ability whereby we want to control that. What is the kind of definition that we want to provide to our quote as is available there. So in order to do that, the logic we would apply is we would basically create our own custom array, and so we would have, let's call it card styles. cons styles equals to, and the number of quotes that we want to display. And instead of mapping our result on the quotes response, let's map it there. So if I, for example, say color is blue, and I want to define the type, right? What kind of type it should be. Should it be filled or should it be not filled? Say the original style that we had was no fill. Let's try with the just one element for now, right? And instead of iterating over our response, let's iterate over this. Let's say I want to iterate over styles. If I want to iterate over styles, I would then be getting the setting here, and this setting would include my color and the type. So the color would be setting dot type, and the code can be the index of this map. So in case it should be the first element only, because we just have one element here. So yeah, let's see what's not right here. We have the setting styles map, setting code, color is being sent here. Let's try to debug. Okay, so it's appearing, but the styling is not there. So we need to supply some sort of styling as well. So if I say class name equals to red, sorry, let's make it blue. No, we are not acknowledging the class name attribute in our main component, so this would not work. We would have to play with the color. So let's go inside our component, and the color should be available. Setting dot type, no, it needs to be the color. Sorry, right. So it was blue here. I want to make it red, green, etc. Right? We should see more number of iterations here, right? So what we want to see here is this. We also need to acknowledge this type. It can be fill or no fill. So first as well, let's make this alternatively. Let's acknowledge the type attribute here. Let's extract that out. And based on the type, we would decide the class name. So one of those styles can be fill, other can be no fill. So in order to decide that, let's move this logic in a variable. Const class name. Let's move this hard coding logic here. Let's read the class name variable with the hard coded value to begin with. It's working. And in order to support this, these types, the type attribute. Based upon type, we would have different classes. So if it is fill, we would have we need to append BG to the color property, color class, else it would be simply class, right? So it would either be card, BG, color name, or just this, right? So card is, still a valid option here. I mean, this is common. Let's keep it inside it. Now, in order to get the this property, whether it's BG color or color, let's use a ternary operator. Const equals to the type. Let's take the type, whether it is my fill. If that is fill, then it would be with the BG. Else without it. Let's add it here. Right. So this is card, BG color name, color name. What are we expecting these as? Let's see our configuration, fill and no fill. So we are expecting this to be filled, but we are not getting that. Let's see what's wrong. We're expecting when this is filled, it should be with BG, right? And type equals to fill and no fill. What do we have as it's blue? Okay. It's not adding BG to it. And why is that? Are we setting the type property? We are not. Very silly mistake again. Setting dot type. Cool. Yeah. So this is also done. Now we have to decide on making this controls working. Let's take a small break here for 10 minutes, and then we'll continue on how to fix this functionality. Would that be fine for everyone?
Yep.
Yep.
Right. So um, it's 7:20 in my watch, 21 now. Let's meet at 7:30 again. Cool.
Sure.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Guys, this is just a small break for 10 minutes. The session is not over. We'll continue in next 10 minutes. So right now it's 7:28. Oh, in next 5 minutes we'll continue. So just hold on for some time.
Guys, Prateek has already released the feedback form. So I would request everyone to just go on the feedback form and give us the valuable feedback so that from next on we would be knowing that what we did wrong. This time I try to improve it, right? So you have feedback forms in your chat. Go and fill them up. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Neha, the one who keeps spamming your emails. I just wanted to know how's this online session are. So we are doing back-to-back sessions online. If you can just provide us the constructive feedback, that will help us a lot to improve the experience, because we have already 2 or 3 sessions planned again online because of COVID situation. So we all, Ikas, Jaswant, me, Prateek, we are looking forward to your feedback so that we can improve the experience, or if there is any other suggestion regarding topics, that would be very helpful. So you can either fill your feedback on in the form which Ikas and Prateek shared, or either you can unmute yourself so that we can talk about that, or you can drop your message in the chat window. Thank you.
Neha, we got a feedback from Rayan Pereira. He says
Okay.
that the sessions are going great, but could you conduct it over Hangout?
Okay, so the reason we picked GoToWebinar is we tried Zoom, and everyone knows the Zoom issue. And if you guys were there when we did that Zoom session, there were like a lot of issues. In Hangout Meet also, anyone can share their screen, anyone can unmute themselves. So a lot of control is not in the hand of organizers. So that's why we picked this GoToWebinar. If you have any other platform, please suggest what we are looking for. We are looking that the organizers should have the control of unmuting and giving the rights for sharing screen. So that is why we are at GoToWebinar. I hope that would help you. I answered your question.
Okay. So Abhimanyu says that please remember to share the code. Yes, Abhimanyu, as Amandeep has already shown you, it's on Code Sandbox, and we'll try to share it again as you come back. Right? Okay. So Munshi Kumar has one question. Let me unmute you. You can just speak out your question over there. So there you are. I've unmuted you. You can go ahead with your question. Yeah, Munshi, do you have anything to say? Okay, right. Okay, so we have another form. I did not get it yet.
यार
Okay,
are you
let
unmuted
me
हो
share the form again. Yeah, Munshi, tell me.
hello hello
Yeah, we can hear you.
yeah my name is Munshi Kumar
Go ahead.
सर मैं बोल रहा था कि थोड़ा सा समझ में नहीं आया
क्या समझ में नहीं आया आपको?
सर ऐसे कि मुझे यहाँ प्रॉब्लम आ रहा था जैसे ये आपने इनपुट में दिया है ना ये बॉक्स
Okay.
हेलो
Yeah, tell me.
ये रेडियो बटन लिए हैं आप वो हमको समझ में नहीं आया कि जो डिफॉल्ट था उस पर क्लिक करने पे नहीं आ रहा था और ये एक और नीचे कोई उस पे क्लिक करने पे आ रहा था तो यहाँ पे आपने क्या लिखा था
Okay, let Amandeep come and probably he could answer your question, right? Let's
ओके
wait for a moment. Let him come and probably he could answer it better, right?
सो मुंशी
सर
अगर आप कहीं पे भी कुछ समझ में ना आए तो आप उस टाइम आप अपना हैंड रेज कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे एक ऑप्शन है या आप चैट पे छोड़ सकते हैं कि ये वाली लाइन समझ में नहीं आई तो
ओके
इकस एंड
मैम थैंक
हाँ इकस एंड प्रतीक उसी टाइम बोल देंगे अभी जैसे इकस ने बोला वेट करते हैं अमन का एंड देन वो आपको एक्सप्लेन करेंगे
ओके मैम थैंक यू
थैंक यू
Okay, so
Because
I have shared.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
I was asking, is there any other feedback you got?
No, actually, just people are asking for the form as we didn't get it. So I've shared it again. And about the code, as soon as Aman is done with the code, I will definitely share the code sandbox link, right? Okay, let's a moment.
Ikas is Aman is back.
Not yet.
Okay, let me check with him.
Okay. Rajiv, I'm not sure. I've just posted the link for the feedback form on the chat. There's a chat section in your what is called dashboard. The last section of it. You can click over there and see the link form in it, right? Okay. Pawan says that. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Pawan. He says that the session was really awesome till now. I'm excited for the next part. Yeah, probably yes. There would be a session continued to it. I'm not sure the plans for Aman, but yeah, there will be one.
Ikas, I can also add to the last question. So Aman will be taking one more code lab on the React, and then we will go back to the Redux workshop. So there would be a whole series, but there would be a gap. So it is not like this weekend Aman is doing beginner and next weekend we will have intermediate. Give us some time to plan that. Might be we will have the back-to-back sessions. It depends upon the availability of Aman and as well as if the team is available. Thank you.
Great. Sorry, Hardik, for the any technical issues, but yes, this video is already recorded, and we'll definitely post it out, and we'll share the links. Thank you. Next thing comes up with Susan. Where are we? Can we get the schedule of this group meetups? Yeah, Sujan, you can log into meetup.com/jslovers. Let me post the link. So all the meetups goes over meetup.com. So you can subscribe to that channel over meetup.com. And I've just posted the link. I've just posted the link to chat, Sujan. You can follow up there, and you will receive all the events and the schedules over there. Thank you.
Because Aman is back, you need to hand over to him. Okay.
Okay, so Aman, stage is yours.
Hey guys, sorry, longer than expected.
Probably, Aman, we just had one question from Munshi. Before starting, you can take up his question. Actually, he's unable to understand the click functionality you were putting on the radio button. So probably I can unmute Munshi once again so he can tell you the query, right?
Sure.
Okay. So I guess Munshi, you are still there. Let me unmute you and you can ask your question to Amandeep directly. So I've unmuted you, Munshi. You can go ahead with your question.
Hey Munshi.
Munshi, you there? I guess Aman.
Hello.
Yeah. I guess he's there. Yeah, you can ask
क्या
the
मैं
question.
Hey Munshi.
सर मैं बोल रहा था कि ये जो रेडियो बटन लिए हुए हैं आप वहां पे समझ में नहीं आया मुझे जो टाइप या व्यू टाइप लिखे हुए हैं उसके बाद ये रेडियो बटन 2 लिए हुए हैं वहां पे समझ में नहीं आया
वहां पे कि ये काम कैसे कर रहे हैं
क्या
आपको ये समझ में नहीं आया कि ये काम कैसे कर रहे हैं
हाँ वहां पे जैसे आप ये क्लिक कर रहे थे तो वहां पे समझ में नहीं आया कि पहले वाला काम नहीं कर रहा था और नीचे वाला काम कर रहा है
नहीं अभी दोनों ही काम
चेक और अनचेक हो रहा था ना
नहीं फिलहाल क्या है कि दोनों ही काम नहीं कर रहे हैं क्योंकि इसके अंदर में हमने वो आपका वो लगाया नहीं हुआ है आपकी फंक्शनैलिटी अभी लगाई नहीं हुई है इसके अंदर में तो फंक्शनैलिटी भी चीज बची है अभी इसको फंक्शनल बनाना
ठीक है
तो आपका डाउट यही था कि ये फंक्शनैलिटी राइट इसके अलावा कोई और डाउट
और सब सही था समझ में आया
ठीक है चलो लेट्स प्रोसीड
Hi
guys so
Hi Aman, sorry before you start, so everything is going good. We got very good feedback also. I just wanted to do a time check, so just keep an eye on the clock and let us know that how long it will go. That's
so
it.
what I'm planning is that instead of coding the remaining logic by hand, let me explain from the application which is already built. That will save everything.
Sure, and also we are planning a follow-up session also, which we spoke about. So in that you can cover up also.
Sure.
Cool. Thank you, Aman.
And Aman, along with it, can you just share the link to all for the code sandbox we are currently working on? So finished up till now what you have done. So they can follow along what is going on or not.
I'm not going to I'm not going to code live code the pending part which is pending for this application. I'm switching to application which is already created, which is already functional, and explaining them what is happening there instead of doing it live right now, not to save some everyone's time.
Okay, so probably you could share the code sandbox link for the completed one.
Sure.
Yeah. Guys, Aman is sharing the code sandbox link over the chat box so that you can all receive it.
Hope everyone has received the link.
Yeah. Thank you, Aman. You can continue.
Cool. Hey guys, so this is the application which is completed and already functional layer. So in order to save everyone's time, let me not do a coding of what was pending till until we have breaked out earlier. So something that was pending was making this this filter operational. So in order to make it operational, what we have done is we have created another list and called it view options JSON, right? And we here we have the text that we want to display here and the value that we would have. So if I right click here, select the element, you would observe that the value that is given to this input is f width, and the name, sorry, the value which gets rendered is full width, right? So similarly for masonry, so what we want is when one of them is selected, this UI gets altered. So what's the logic of altering this UI? So I want to alter this into a masonry view. So this layout is basically a Flexbox layout, and we are applying a number of classes here to the elements which make that happen. So excuse me, I'm just trying to resize the window. Yeah, cool. So first we created this object, and this has the heading, the options. We can later have more options as we proceed with the application, and then map this object options array specifically to create the options. So for that, we have created a view options object, and this view options is then presented here. So previously we had taken out the static HTML out of this working application, and then created a dumb component. Now we are going to make it smart. Now to make it smart, we are added a number of props that would be required to make it configurable. The heading um, for it needs to get displayed here, like so. For example, if we have a requirement whereby this view type can view type needs to be reused either on the same page or on a different page. So this is now a module. This is what again React helps us achieve. So view types has been created as a module. In this application, everything exists in a single page. So that's a single file called main.js. But inside main.js, we have achieved a number of modules. We have created a number of modules. So these modules can be, converted or transferred from this main.js into individual files and then imported either into this main.js or others for reusability. Just sharing a design pattern here. So yeah. So in order to achieve this, we need to make some changes to this layout, right? So the layout, for the layout, we have added a new class called codes container and masonry, and this masonry basically gets added conditionally when the state is masonry. So what is this masonry state? Let's see. We have created another hook for keeping the what is the state of this masonry object, and of course in order to set that, we have this set masonry state. So initially that's false, so that's why when you refresh the page, it is loaded as default, and it's not false. And the default selected option is f width, right? So that's what we see. That's course view type, and let's see that how we are actually setting this assembly state. So we have applied a change listener to this particular element on view change. So this is what we are sending on change. And if you see the definition of view options back above, this on change is red, that is supplied as the change handler, right? So we are checking that for checking it initially, does this check the attribute as what is the initial state of the attribute? So if you see the props back again, is selected as quotes view type, and that's quotes view type is set to F width in this option, right? So in order to make masonry work, when this changes, right, on view options change, we are setting the type to the current value, the value that we fetch from in this guy gets changed. And if we are checking if the value is masonry, right, then we are setting the state. And this set masonry state in turn does the magic. So this is basically a boolean, and this boolean is in turn used in the UI. So when this is true, right, we apply this class, which is masonry, to this container of this quotes, and otherwise we set it to blank. Also, this masonry state is set is sent to this particular the child every quote in order to make the CSS changes. So let's revisit quote. Inside this quote, we have the masonry, and based on the masonry is set to true or false, we are adding another class, card masonry. So yeah, so this filtering basically changes the classes both on the container as well as individual code component, and that's how it's working. This is pretty much it for the basic application. And let's quickly move back to a few things that I wanted to cover. React hooks was introduced in the version 16.8 before that it was in a beta state. And since hooks, things have become way more easier, not just from a standpoint for individuals who love coding the functional way instead of the class way, but the other benefits that hooks has covered. We have not even scratched the surface of what are the things that we can achieve using hooks. We can create custom hooks to basically extract out reusable logic and reuse it across the application. So what we have seen as of now is selecting the HTML and then creating components out of it, but that doesn't include independent logic or the markup that can be created using that kind of logic. So that's a detailed discussion we can have later. But specifically, we have not touched about classes because, especially for beginners, there's a steep learning curve in case you go the class route. Then there are others who also agree with this theory. One of them being Corey House, he recently became a full-time instructor. Also accepted by Kenzie Rhodes. He's a big name in the React world, also a teacher, JavaScript teacher. Closing closing everything on one question: what is it that makes ReactJS so beautiful? It's basically the community. It's not that it has virtual DOM. It's not that it has it makes modular. We can learn once and write everywhere. All those features are wonderful, but the most important feature is the community, because we have individuals who work on it. There is social interaction. We had a splendid seminar just on ladies yesterday, the Women React conference. Our organizer, Neha, also did a wonderful session there yesterday. But it's basically the community, we the people, which are the most important part of this uh, this thing, the React world, or rather any other frameworks or technologies that I love. So yeah, and I would be more than happy to assist any one of you in case you have queries, either now or after the session. Feel free to reach out. I'm pretty active on Twitter, and that's my GitHub profile. I will be sharing the code base with everyone, and hopefully I would try to learn and improve. Please give me constructive feedback so that I can learn from my mistake. This is the first ever webinar that I've conducted, and thank you so much for attending it. Thanks for that, and special thanks to JS Lovers. I'm part of this family. I'm a volunteer here, but they keep helping, they keep grooming individuals like me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you so much. Uh, First of all, I would like to especially say thanks to Aman for taking time for dry runs and doing this session. For everyone else, thank you for attending this session. As you mentioned, we are going to share the slides, code sandbox, and the video, and we will be having a follow-up session too. We are opening the floor for any questions or any feedback you have. Please go ahead and please share with us.
Yeah, we have few questions. Okay, so Omkar asked, sir, I'm struggling a bit with getting started with Redux. Would you please show some direction? Hello, Aman, you there?
Sorry, I was on mute. So Redux is basically a state management tool, and in case you really have the use case whereby you can't get things done with your regular state management, and your use reducer hook that you have got, if you want to, if you really have the use case and want to take it to the next level, I can probably share a number of resources whereby you can get better at it. But yeah, what I would suggest is be mindful of knowing that when to use Redux or any other state management tool. For learning, it's great, but you also need to understand that what are the use cases whereby you really need to use it. Otherwise, it's an overkill. So what I'm saying is not needed for all React apps.
100% agree with Aman. I also want to add, before moving to or jumping to Redux, do check the context API. Redux under hood use context API. So if you want to understand the learning curve from React to Redux, it should be React context API and then move towards Redux. And as Aman said that there are apps you need to ask first, do you need Redux in this or not? And then only you should start using it. Redux world is altogether different with respect to if you are getting into Redux, you need to do a lot of, you need to handle a lot of stuff. So that's from my side. Okay, Ikas, we can move to next question, or if someone wants to add anything.
Yeah, probably a sort of similar question. Srirang asked that can Aman suggest any resources for start learning React?
There are at least 2 resources that I can suggest you. I would possibly share them in on our Meetup page. So there is a free course from Kenshi Dots, and I've learned a lot from him. That's a free resource available on egghead.io. I would share that link. That's one resource. And there is also one paid tutorial on frontendmasters.com. And in case you don't want to go with the paid route yet, which I believe is not necessary, you should first see all the free options that are available and only go the route of paid options, which is not the case right now, whereby you don't have resources. So uh, by the way, that's another resource, good resource, if you really want to see that. That's a course from a course on front-end masters. There have been a few iterations. There's both a beginner's course and an intermediate level course on ReactJS. So these are two very good resources. And apart from that, I will also try sharing some free resources, books, blogs, um, in the Meetup page. Hope that answers your
Great.
question.
Yeah, thank you, Aman. Probably that could help a lot of people. Neha, next question is probably you could answer better. Munshi asked that can we run a regular class?
मुंशी रेगुलर क्लास मींस हम हर वीकेंड पे अपने सेशंस कर रहे हैं, बट आई वांट मोर इन्फॉर्मेशन व्हेन यू से कि रेगुलर क्लासेस चाहिए आपको.
Okay, great. So we have some feedback questions for Aman from Abhimanyu. Thanks, Aman and JS Lovers, for being awesome. Next question for Tejas. Awesome webinar. Thanks a lot, Amandeep, for your knowledge sharing. And JS Lover Mumbai chapter for webinar. Okay. Omkar says understood. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Because
That's all.
Hi Abhimanyu, Neha this side. This webinars we are publishing across all JS Lovers Meetup page. So either it's Mumbai, Bangalore, Pune, Delhi. So it's not specific to any particular one chapter, JS Lovers Mumbai or so on. So it's open for all. So that's only thing I wanted to mention, add here. That's it. Thank you.
Guys, if you have any other questions that are not being entertained, probably you could raise your hand now, or else if there are no questions, we'll give it a go then, and we'll end the webinar. So probably if you have any, just raise your voice. Probably we could wait for 1 or 2 minutes more. Okay, so there's one question. I'm a student. My major focus is on the backend development. So will not knowing higher level React affect my chances of getting hired? Omkar, probably I would say you know React and you know backend. Obviously, you are a full stack now, and you get better chances of getting hired anyhow, right? Probably I guess that answers your question. You're more into development, so that gives you a more higher chance of getting hired, not the reverse way of it. Okay.
Because I want to add. I want to add here. So if when people say that we are the React developer, I'm sorry, but I keep rectifying that. Do not say that you are a React developer. Always focus on the JavaScript first and then focus on libraries and frameworks. Now, when you said that you want get chance of getting hired as a React developer because you don't know advanced, so most of the organization, and I'm talking about the good organization, they will never start taking your interview on React first. They will ask you JavaScript first. If you are very good in that and you don't know React, mostly 80% chances are they will hire you, unless and until a company is a startup or they are just focusing on React, they have an urgent need, then they might start with the React. Now, even in the interviews, most of the folks just focus on the basics first. So if you doesn't know the basics, then they won't go ahead. When talking about the advanced, in the React, the advanced, to be very honest, there is no advance in React, because if you will make 2-3 apps, you are already know all the fundas of React.js. So But if you are saying Redux could be the advanced, I know a lot of developers who don't get the chance to work on the Redux application, and it's fine. Be very honest in interview. As Ikas mentioned, +1 for that. You are already in backend. You are already doing React, which is a full stack profile. You have very higher chances to get hired. Do not think that I don't know advanced, so I won't get hired. But I would like to just, because this is a platform where we talked about React, I would really want either it's React, Angular, Vue.js. Before stepping into that, take a small step back and learn JavaScript first, and then move to these frameworks and libraries. That's it. Thank you.
Great, Neha. That was a great point you mentioned over there. And even Omkar replied to it that I'm majorly working on Node.js, so I'm pretty confident on JS. So there you
Perfect.
go, Omkar. You are already good in JavaScript. So as Neha mentioned, you're good to go. And any good company or any other company you're looking forward to will definitely hire you. So yeah, I guess that's the end of questions. I'm not receiving any further. Okay, so there's one more. Probably this would be, I guess, the last question we get. Ma'am, actually, I had applied for a talk or on GitHub page. Should I apply again?
Who is this? What is the name?
Omkar Agarwal.
Omkar, just let me check. We are actually doing the repeat of our all old talks, because now we are moving to webinar. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just checking your talk. And to answer your question, no, you don't need to reapply. I just need to check where is your talk. Can you just share the name of your talk or the link in the chat, if this is possible?
Neha, I can see it. It's number 12. It's
Number
the
12.
ubiquity of integrate asynchronous JS.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I will take this. We will take this on priority, Omkar, and you will be hearing back from us very soon.
Great. So we have a speaker booked for upcoming sessions. That's very awesome. So yeah, Neha, can we close it now? I guess we have no
Yep.
more questions.
Cool.
Great.
Then yes, we can close it. Thank you, everyone. Special thanks to our speakers, and biggest thanks to our attendees who are still with us. So thank you so much, and obviously Ikas and Pratik, without you and Jaswan, without you, the show is not possible. So Ikas, you can do, or Pratik, if anyone can do the closing note.
Pratik? I guess he's not there. So probably I'll close it by. So thank you so much. Stay safe, stay at home. And one thing probably everyone, I guess, missed out here. This meetup was actually planned very early by ProGate for the sponsorship, as the matter of sponsorship is concerned. So this is a meetup by ProGate. Do hit all the tweets in name of JS lovers and add ProGate there as well. So we can thank them for organizing this meet, right? So we'll see you soon, probably next weekend or the upcoming weekends, because we have a lot of things planned, of course. So thank you so much. So here we close. Okay, goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thanks all.
Bye.